Okay, we are live, and good morning to all, or good evening, whatever it is, where you are in the world. Going to get into one of our favorite topics, the woke, the woke people. Um, Now you might say it looks like I just awoke from my sleep. A little bit of a dad joke there, but I am. I have actually been up for quite a few hours working, and I thought I would do this live stream. Um, for some reason, some of you guys seem to appreciate these live streams, and I'm very happy about that. And let's see how it goes with this channel. With these more frequent live streams. Just a quick glance here at the chat. Um, a lot of the usual suspects are here. Good to see you all. Let me get into the topic. Now, we all know what the woke are, or who the woke are. And Hi there, Martina. Good morning. So I don't have to explain what woke is or who the woke are, but I will say this. I think it is a mindset that is very negative. I know this goes against what, the more politically correct individuals out there would say, but luckily I'm not one of those. I find that wokeness, if you will, is it's like a list of things you have to believe and things you have to say. It is very much like a dogmatic religion. Um, they have rules, and everyone has to think and say the same about certain topics. And as is the case with dogmatic or yeah, dogmatic religion. It comes not from a place of love, it comes from a place of fear. Uh, I find that the politically correct woke people, they are afraid of a lot of things. And they are also, and I have to say this, they strike me as being weak. Now, I'm not saying this because I'm not saying this to mock them. I'm just saying what I am observing, and there is a weakness there. And what's more, they celebrate weakness almost. So you could say that um, on the opposite side of the scale, which would be, you know, individualism, taking responsibility for your own actions. And I will say this, and don't get me wrong here, anti-racism. I'll just throw this in here, because if you think about it, wokeness is racist. It's extremely racist because they have this mindset where race matters a lot. And to me, it doesn't. And to most conservative people, if you will, it doesn't. It's the individual that matters. Okay. Just wanted to throw this in here to get the chat um, started. um, so I find that wokeness is negative, and it comes from a place of fear. And I think that's why they hate strong people, and they hate anyone with a mindset like, If you say that, well, I'm my own, I will make my own fortune. I'm responsible for being happy. I'm responsible for my actions, and I am I will improve myself and do my best, um, and so on and so on. They don't like that mindset, do they? Um, and You could say it's a symptom of other things in society. Maybe it's a symptom of a society where, you know, it's almost like mental illness is celebrated now. I read a news article where young people, like teenagers now, they are saying that everyone they know, they seem to have some kind of mental illness, or that they are suffering from some kind of mental, um, something going on in their head, right? So it's not good, you know. So that might be part of the reason why wokeness is celebrated, at least by the, the mainstream, if you will. um I don't like to use the word mainstream so much anymore, because we have to understand that social media is mainstream as well now. um but that's a different topic, I guess. So, of course, all it's also useful to have people locked into this mindset where they have to believe this and that, and they can't even discuss it. They have just established some truths. Sorry, tru- truths. Difficult to pronounce for a Norwegian. Um, and you will even find typically people who are woke using the term "my truth," and I hate that. I hate that so much. I can't. I despise it, that term, because there is one truth. Okay, truth is not subjective; it's objective. And if you go out there in the world and you believe that, well, now the truth is individual, it de- it will vary from person to person. You're not talking about the truth, are you? You're talking about your people's perception of things, which is not the truth, you know. But anyway, um, let's see here. Let's see. Uh, I don't know. Do we have any moderators here? Berserkergang 2019, good to see you. Do you want to be a moderator, by the way? You don't have to do anything except when and if you have time, you know. Um, so, yeah, it is late. I understand. I understand it's late. So, um, okay, I would say that wokeness is probably a lot more harmful to young people than it is to middle-aged people like myself. I don't care so much about that, or I don't care about that at all. I am fully aware that people like me should be ashamed of themselves for existing. I am what these people would call white. It's funny, isn't it? I would never call myself white. I'm not really white, am I? I'm skin colored, and I'm Norse. That's my identity. But yeah, these people are obsessed with race, as I mentioned. Um, but yeah, Where was I going with that? I can't remember. Yeah, yeah. Middle-aged people like myself, white, male, um, conservative. Um, all you can add into that, I'm a heathen. Oh, so I get the hate from the Christians. Some of the Christian people as well. Yeah, and they don't. It's not like they. Yeah, I know. I know. They. Some people say, well, you see, you have to understand they care about you. That's why they want you to believe what they believe. No, no, it's not that. No, it's they. If that is so, they don't know what caring about people is. From what I can see, it's about power, but that's again, that is another different topic. But people like myself, you know, I understand that we should, just pay our taxes and shut up. Uh, and we're not allowed to have opinions about half the population, that is women. We're not allowed to have any opinions about anything that any woman has said or done. We're not allowed to have any opinions about this topic that the woke are so obsessed about, race. That's okay. I don't care about race. I don't care. But um, it's um, it's funny, you know. It's funny. They want our money. Yeah, tax money. They want that. And the way I see things, if there is someone I don't like, I wouldn't want their money, because it's like, isn't that wouldn't that give you a kind of a bad feeling? Like, no, I don't want that, because no, it feels wrong, right? But they don't think like that. Um, let's see. Yeah, people are probably waking up. I think one of the reasons might be because this wokeness thing, it's not sustainable, is it? You can't have any society existing with values like that, because you're pretty much breaking up the structures that are needed to have things, to have a production of goods and services, to have people caring for the children, and so on and so on. Der Erpel has been a member for 10 months. He's recommending Heiling and Vardruna. And like we have, I don't decide anything in this house. You have to understand. It's not up to me. So we have Netflix. Yeah, we do. And we have watched some of, not many, because it's mostly rubbish, but we have watched some of those shows, TV series, and at some point, these TV series, they can be okay for a season or two, or and then they start adding stuff to make it more politically correct or woke, and it all goes downhill from there. Have you noticed that? I'm sure you have. Um, and I saw actually a video about this. I can't remember what the name is. It's a term. Sorry, I can't remember. But they have, like, BlackRock, who owns pretty much the world. They have imposed standards for what they call social equity or something like that. Um, Again, that's I don't want to get into that too much because I haven't prepared that, so I would have to look more into that. But it's quite interesting, actually. It is obviously not about being kind to people. It's about money and power, as always. Um, so okay, see here. Oh, okay. Change of topic. Do you recommend the smaller Helle knives? I've been looking at the Helle Gaupe a lot. Beautiful knife, but I have Moras and big knives as well. I will say this: Moras are better than a Gaupe. I have both, and I would not recommend Gaupe for a bushcraft survival situation. And I'm sorry to say that, but um, it depends on the model. But most of those knives are made for whittling, maybe some lighter work, but they're not very solid, you know. Um, and you can't use a fire steel on most of the sorry, Helle models, and I don't know about the Helle Gaupe. Um, uh, Someone says own quite a few Helle knives, never had a bad experience with them. Yeah, some people really like them. Um, I think when it comes to kids being woke, um, for many of them, it's a phase, and they will wake up because they will start paying taxes. And if they are successful at some point, they will look at this and they will say, um, this isn't so cool after all, because now suddenly I'm one of those people that are very bad. Get my meaning here? So they will probably wake up, and I wouldn't be so worried if there's like a 14-year-old who has a few woke opinions about things. It's a phase. I would be much more worried if you were talking about a 20-year-old, 20-something-year-old who are getting more and more indoctrinated. Um, I think this is something you will see in American universities. I don't know. I haven't been there, but that's what I'm hearing. Um, and and it's yeah. So that I would be more worried about that. Um, yeah, everyone has a favorite knife, uh, or several favorite knives. That's just how it is. Knife debates are like, I'll bring my popcorn, you know. So yeah, I think that the best way to deal with this push for wokeness is to be completely opposed to it in every possible way. Not that we should go out there and try to discuss with these people, because that obviously would be a waste of time. But I will use sense and logic and reason. I will not judge people. I will I will not be envious of successful people. I will do my best. I will try my best to improve myself, and all these things that we know are good things. you know and by living like that, you will also live a more positive lifestyle. As you know, if you watched my videos and my live streams, you know that I'm talking a lot about taking responsibility. I don't believe in blaming others. And yes, both or all sides of the political spectrum, they do have a tendency to blame others. And sometimes others are to blame, but what can you do about it? You know, you have to do the best out of the situation, and it's only you who can do that. Again, it's common sense. We all know this, but it's worth mentioning, I believe. Um, okay, knife talk over. We can do a knife talk another time. I like talking about knives. You know. Uh, yeah, Colleen, I've noticed the propaganda for the new variant of the plague has begun. I've seen that. They're getting ready for fall, I guess, for autumn. Yeah, it's wonderful, wonderful. Uh, you say you are a heathen, but you are more have more Bible and spiritual in you than some of the Christians. Well, the Bible, is a collection of stuff. A lot of it was borrowed from other sources and other belief systems and so on. Um, Being a heathen is, of course, uh, means you are very spiritual, of course. Um, I didn't really understand that comment there. We can talk about knives another time. uh, yeah. So, mountain. Okay, we're getting into the axe and saw and knife debate. Yeah, I'm. Yeah. Okay, I'll just leave that. Okay, uh, I'll leave that now. Just to throw something else into the live stream here. What do you think about the Russians claiming that they will maybe in the future want Alaska back? I don't know how many Americans are here now, but that is I don't know what to say about that. But it's like I said it as a joke when people, I suppose, a lot of trolls, bots from the Putin troll factories and so on. They started stinking up the place because I said I talked about NATO and Scandinavia, not only Sweden and Finland joining NATO and why I think that's necessary. So and I said, what would you feel like? Would you say that, well, they're just doing this because you Europeans provoked them, so we should just give them what they want? Yeah, no, no, we won't do that. And how would you feel if they claimed that, we want Alaska back? Used to be Russian, so it's bit it's funny. um, let's see here. Yeah, it's I don't think they mean that seriously, but these Russian politicians, they like to, in the safety of their Duma, or in the safety of their, Kremlin there, they like to play tough. Um, yeah. So will your books ever be printed in English? I hope so. It's something that needs to happen. And if my agent can't secure a book deal with an American or English publisher, at some point I will have to do it myself. I would then have to hire someone, because it's a big project. You see, it's not like self-publishing one book that you wrote. It's a big project. So I would have to hire someone with experience in the publishing business. So, and no, I won't read it, because that would take ages. And also, I don't want to give it away for free on social media. I just can't do that. I don't think I'm even allowed to do that. Um, so, um, the Orange Man, yeah, he had, I think, yes, he had good, he understood people like Putin much better. Or I would claim that, and this is dangerous waters, but um, the gas man, that's a new nickname now. The gas man in the White House, the guy who's there now, um, or rather his people there, they might not be so opposed to a war. Some of them used to work in the weapons industry, right? Um, Again, I'm not, you know, it's important here to have, to be able to avoid thinking black and white. Okay, so I can criticize the Putin regime for what they're doing, and they should be criticized, because what they're doing is disgusting. But at the same time, we should be able to criticize. Oh, I think I can say Biden. I said the gas man. That's a bit funny, and his people for create or enabling a situation, or even maybe a little bit provoking. Um, the Biden family, the Ukraine. Is there something there? I'm being very careful. You know how this works. For some reason, YouTube, they demonetize everything when they are onto my channels. Um, so yeah, well, Trump was not an idiot. He was maybe a dirty old man and all that, possibly a narcissist. I don't know, but he was not an idiot, and there were things he understood that, you know. I'll tell you this: if I had the choice, luckily it was not. Luckily, I didn't have to make that choice. But if I had the choice, as you Americans had, between Trump and Biden, I would have voted for Trump. I don't like Trump. I'll tell you that I don't like Trump. But Biden, you know, that system, that whole thing, I told you, it's not going to end well. And yeah, look at what's happening now. You know, not saying that Trump would have saved the world or anything like that, but maybe some of the decisions made would have been made in. There would maybe have been wiser people making decisions. Maybe, you know. Again, the best thing I can say about Trump's personality is that he's a bit funny. Well, he's quite funny actually. It makes me laugh. But yeah, um, you don't want to vote for someone to be president just because you like them or not. That shouldn't be a factor at all, actually. So, but anyway, um, yeah. Yeah, Sri Lanka is interesting. I have looked a little bit into that, like everyone else, like many other people, um, and it seems like even though, of course, mainstream Western media won't tell you this, but or Eastern, by the way, but but this is what happens when a country gets kind of swallowed up by the World Economic Forum's agenda. And I'll say that again. This is what happens when a country follows the World Economic Forum's agenda, now called Agenda 2030. Um, and some people will disagree, but on this, I just don't care if you do, because we can just wait a little bit and see. More countries will follow unless they just say, no, we won't be part of this. We will not be part of this. And they stop and they turn and they make some sensible decisions about their country. Um, but if they don't, if they just follow along, that's pretty much what, the countries will collapse. Maybe not all countries, but smaller states typically, when it comes to geopolitical power, those with less power will probably collapse. It has to do with natural resources as well. I can mention that in Norway, we're seeing an interesting development now where the politicians on the far left and on the not far right, we don't really have far right influential politicians there, but anyway, they are coming together and they are demanding that our elected, what's it called? Yeah, not not the government, but the people. Is that what you would call Congress? Oh, Stortinget, we say here. Okay. So the politicians deciding for the country. Okay, they are saying you can't be on vacation now because they are on summer vacation and a long one as well. And they are saying we have to do something. We have to stop these power companies from exporting our electrical power, exporting our energy out of Norway. Can't do that. Needs to stop because people are struggling. So they are saying what they're saying there is that we have to protect our country. And it will be interesting to see what happens there, because it goes against Agenda 2030, it goes against globalism, and it goes certainly against the goals of the World Economic Forum. And by the way, if you look at the Young Leaders program that they have, and they have had so for a long time, in the World Economic Forum, you will find, interestingly, a lot of people, politicians who are now in positions of power. Um, Macron was there, and Putin was there, and yeah, did you know that he was one of the, he is deeply into the World Economic Forum. All you can like that or not, I don't care, but it's a fact. So it will be interesting to see what happens now. Will we just continue towards Agenda 2030 or not? I don't know. I hope not. Um, I hope not. We'll see. Yeah, Macron. I don't like Macron. I don't like him at all. He's terrible. Um, okay. I'm just reading the comments now. Yeah, I think, Anders, it is important that we talk about this. And by the way, have you noticed that the whole wokeness thing is a culture thing? It has to do with the culture, and that is important, but it is much less important than what might be coming down the road here. What I mean by that is, when you start getting hungry, you can't get food in the store, nobody will care about wokeness anymore. There are a few ideas and concepts and a few things that will just go straight out the window, be thrown straight out the window when a recession or even a depression kicks in, or when people start suffering. And I'll tell you this: things like, feminism will not be seen as important anymore. And by that I mean, no, don't get me wrong here, and I'll explain what I mean. But it will not be a prioritized thing. It will not be something that people think about much, because they will be occupied with basic their basic needs. So I'm not saying that. Now, okay, I'm not saying that, all women should just go back, stay at the kitchen. No, no, don't get me wrong here. I'm saying that people will prioritize differently, and they will just not care about many of the things that we are caring about now. You could even say that some of the things, or a lot of the things that makes headlines now, will not make headlines when people start starving, or when people start suffering, when people find themselves in an economic depression. Okay, so um, okay. Um, Misa. Sharpening a pocket knife. That's sharpening knives is it's like a meditation to many people. Um, Amy says, "I don't think I want tires knocking at my door." Okay, yeah, um, yeah, a luxury project, Anders, exactly. Um, so, and you know how bad will it get? I don't know. Maybe nobody knows. It will be better in some countries, and I think if you live in Norway, you're lucky because we have a lot of natural resources. We're not part of the EU. We are in that way. It's easier for us, even though we have, our politicians are. Oh, yeah, yeah, okay, but we have some people in political with political power who actually understand that we are a separate country. So Norway is probably going to do better than many other countries. We can just shut off in a day. We could shut off the export of power, and things would be better. So, uh, Anders, I thought you were Norwegian. Uh, Norway is not part of the EU, no. Yeah, I know a lot of people think that Norway is part of the EU. We're not. We have had what do you call it when people vote for a thing or against a thing? Is that a referendum? No, is that something else? Well, but we have done that twice or three times. No, twice. Twice. Anyway, didn't people don't want that, so they didn't get a majority for vote. People don't want to be a part of the EU. Um, so yeah, a lot of people believe that we are, and a lot of people believe that Norway is the capital of Sweden, and a lot of people believe that Norway has the same immigration politics or policy as, for instance, Sweden. That's not true. A lot of people don't realize that Norway is a coastal country. It has a very long coastline. You heard about the fjords, right? So, so yeah, that's Norway. And if you flip Norway around like 180 degrees, the northern tip would reach Rome. So it's long and thin. Let's see now. Yeah, I don't blame Americans for not knowing this because I would not actually be able to, for instance, place all the American states on the map. I know some, but right in the middle there, I have no idea. I'm sorry. So yeah, we need to keep Norway separate. Um, no, yeah, okay. So another misconception about Norway. Uh, Norway is not joining NATO. Norway has been a member for NATO for a long, long time already. Okay. Um, Jimbus Maximus says, "Don't feel bad, Bjorn. Most Americans can't either." You're talking about putting names on the states in the map. Okay. Well, there are a lot of them. So, yeah. Is Sweden full of hippies, Mark? I didn't know that. I haven't seen any there, but yeah. Um, uh, Huck Finn says the middle is Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Illinois. It is one big corn and soybean field. What I've heard is that the middle there is flat. It's very flat, which is, yeah, that's Norway is not flat. And curiously enough, I I learned this, or I kind of noticed this on my Bjorn Outdoors channel mainly because there I do my outdoors videos, and you should all go and subscribe. Link in the video description. But I will say, I walked 10 kilometers today, and for me, if I walk 15 kilometers, that's quite a lot. And I remember one woman actually wrote that, how can you say that even an old woman would be able to do that? Well, there are some old women who are really fit, who can walk for miles and miles and miles, by the way. But that individual compared it to some of the trails in the USA, going over areas that are going through areas that are much more flat. So in Norway, it's not like that. It's hills, up and down, and there is never like a straight line. It's like it's not like that. So it takes a lot more time to walk these trails here, and the trails here are sometimes very, very barely visible, actually. Okay. Nachtwolf 1097, I can tell you that from what I know, it's not there is no more the testing when it comes to the Norwegian border. But please don't take my word for it, but that's what I've heard. Yes, I've actually met people who hadn't seen the sea in their life at all, who came here. Earl Miller, yes, I understand that, foothills and mountains, lots of them in America. Um, yeah, don't get me wrong there, but I think that individual was comparing trails um, over there with the trails here. The trails there being like what we would call roads, which is a lot easier to walk, of course. Thank you, Anders. That's very kind of you to say. Um, Now, as I've said many times, Sweden and Finland will join NATO, and they are protected already because they have applied. So they are in effect protected by NATO. I think it's wise. The idea that they should stay neutral is very naive. They can say that they will stay neutral all day long. But if it comes down to it, Russia won't care. Um, and that's, you might like this, you might disagree, you might not, but you have to think a little bit here, and you have to realize that this is actually not about morals. It's about realizing that when there are two big bullies in the street, um, and they are dominating that street, um, at some point you might not have a choice. You will have to team up with one of them. Because neutrality, I don't believe in neutrality. I don't think that will work. It didn't work so well for Sweden during the Second World War. I'll tell you that. But even though many people think that it did, but yeah, okay. Okay. Are you the Xed? Um, no. um, it's like, I've talked about this before. No, obviously not. But I've said from the start here, that must be your decision to make based on objective information. You know, I would never look down upon anyone for making the decision for or against that, because it's not my decision to make, you know. Um, so no, no, I'm never going to. No, yeah, that's again a minefield here on social media. It's a minefield. It's almost impossible to talk about it now. I would like to see a Nordic Union. I think that when things are, as long as things are as they are, getting out of the EU right now, and I never thought I would say this, but I would probably not. I think that would be unwise now. I don't think Norway should join. Absolutely not. But when things calm down, which I hope they will, I would love to see the EU being dissolved, and I would love to see a Nordic Union, or maybe a North Sea Baltic Union. I would love to see that. You might call it selfish, but I would love to see England, Scotland, um, Ireland, even. And sorry, even I don't know why I said that, but and the Scandinavian countries, Finland, the Baltic states, maybe also the Netherlands, pe- um, um, people and nations with a lot of resources um, coming together and protecting those resources. I would like to see that, you know. Uh, Isaac says that would be a bunch of badasses. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, sorry, Iceland, of course. How could yes, Iceland, of course. Um, Svalbard is part of Norway. Yeah, the Russians are threatening all the time now, and they are. The latest I read was that they are threatening or just grabbing a lot of ocean up south of Svalbard, um, because of oil and gas resources, and fishing, and things like that. And we had a deal, and a good relationship actually with the Russians up there. And I don't think, here's what I think. I think people living up there, Russians living up there, they don't want this because it was stable and they had a good relationship with the Norwegians there. And that's what you want, right? So, but anyway, we'll see how it goes. When it comes to fish or fishing rights, Norway is notorious for not giving that away. And we had a minister. He was a few years ago, and he got the nickname. I can't remember his name now, but something and no fish. Was it Olsen? Because he said, "We will give you no fish." So, yeah, a Nordic Union would be awesome, Janie, well, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. It means I will eat today. No, just kidding. But seriously, thanks a lot. That's very kind of you. Yeah, Russian submarines. We know that they are here, and I'll tell you a bit of a story. When I was, this was a long time ago, but a Russian submarine surfaced. They had made an error and navigated they didn't know where they were, and they surfaced up at the Swedish coast, and they didn't really have any good excuse, and it was a big embarrassment for the Russians. And it even that was this. It was so funny in a way that a Norwegian comedian who was very famous at the time, he is dead now, but he made this incredibly funny joke or sketch where he was appearing as the Russian submarine captain, and he said, "Well, no, we're just out there fishing, deep water fishing." And he also said that, well, you can't see the border underwater, so that was hilarious. I don't know why they didn't know where they were, but it was a big embarrassment. Now this was and this was in early 80s, maybe. I don't remember all these things, when I sit here and talk, but deep water fishing. Yeah, and you can't see the border underwater, so yeah. Exactly, Anders. Harald Junior. It's hilarious. I still laugh. I must have seen it 100 times. I still laugh. It is in Norwegian, so it's a little bit difficult to get the meaning of it, but yeah. Jokes now. Yeah. Well, yeah, as you maybe know already, we have jokes in Scandinavia. So the Norwegians, they have jokes about typically about the Swedish, and in those jokes, the Swedish are always very, very stupid, and the Swedish have the same jokes. I heard they have the same jokes about the Norwegians, but it's the Norwegians that are being the very stupid people. Okay, so how do you sink a Swedish submarine? You swim down and knock on the door. Very funny. Yeah. So Yeah, that's uh, okay. Yeah. So when I was a boy, we had these jokes, and they are not the best jokes, but it's a cultural thing, you know. Uh, but I'll tell you this: that some jokes are always portrayed as super, well, super masculine, and they drink a lot, and um, they are quite virile. Is that the word? and and very tough. So that's the stereotypical Finn in those jokes, you know. So that's those jokes are actually quite funny. Um, uh, so jokes about the Finns, yeah. So that's do the jokes turn into punching? No, no. And the jokes about the Finns, I read that they started in the Norwegian military actually. Um, the stereotypical Finn, you know, he's like he cannot. It's like almost he's almost impossible to kill. Not that that was they are our allies, so it's not like that. But they are typically also fighting the Russians and out there in the snow, skiing, drinking vodka, fighting, and all that. Yeah. So that's how I view all the Finns. Yeah. No, not really, but it's a bit of it. It's funny. Haha, Misa. Why do Swedes cut holes in their umbrellas? So they can look up and check if it's raining. Okay. Uh, yeah, it's very close to dad jokes, I would say. You know. Uh, okay. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, okay. I'll end this live stream now. But thank you all for joining. Um, yeah, yeah, dad jokes. Yeah. So glad you liked the stream. Um, haha, that's a joke. Another one, Johan. Another one here. I'll just read this one. What is smart people called in Norway? Tourists. Yeah. That wasn't so bad. That was actually a kind of a good joke, I would say. You know. Okay. Have a wonderful day or night, and whatever it is, and we'll talk soon. Bye.